We get some challenging words today, and we get some encouraging words today. Maybe we'll start with the challenging words first. In the gospel, Jesus is asked, will only a few people be saved? And this is a question that comes up. People ask over and over, how many will be saved or who will be saved? And Jesus redirects the question. He says, really to the questioner, he says, strive to enter through the narrow gate. In other words, we can be preoccupied with what's going to happen to everyone else. And he says, maybe he suggests our primary focus should be on our own efforts. And he offers a little bit of a challenge, saying that many will attempt to enter but will not be strong enough, or will come expecting to be let in and will receive some resistance or not the response they expected. So in other words, we ought to avoid a sort of sense of entitlement or just comfortability that, I know Jesus, so everything's fine. I don't really need to put in any effort. And so Jesus challenges us that it's going to take some strength. It's going to take that discernment through that narrow gate. So we ought to focus on our own efforts, our own relationship with Jesus, not taking it for granted, but instead striving each day to follow him more faithfully, that continuing conversion of the spiritual life. So it shouldn't throw us into anxiety, but it should challenge us out of complacency. That's really what Jesus is saying in our gospel. But first and foremost, to bring our focus back on ourselves rather than on others. So a little bit of a word of challenge from Jesus there. But the other part of our readings today are really words of encouragement in the midst of that. St. Paul to the Romans tells us that the Spirit comes to the aid of our weakness. And this beautiful line where he says, we know that all things work for good for those who love God. Really a great encouragement sometimes, especially in discernment, I think, working with people who are thinking about vocations. But truly for all of us, we can sometimes get very concerned of, do I go this way or do I go that way? Both are good directions to go. They're congruent with the faith. Neither one is vicious, and we can become very worried that we got to pick the right one or everything is going to fall apart. And this reading is suggesting that if we've discerned and both of them are viable options in terms of the faith and virtue, and they're not wrong in some way, that either one the Lord's going to work with. And so, I tell this to guys who are thinking about priesthood, who get very worried about whether I need to go or not, and say if you've done the discernment that you're not, running away from something, then either way, God's going to go with you. He's going to guide you. It's going to be okay. And that's really kind of what Paul is saying here. We know that all things work for good for those who love God. Let's strive to love God. Let's follow the teaching of the church and follow the guidance of those who are in charge of us, but then be at peace, to trust that the Lord is smarter than we are and he can work with our efforts. He'll guide us where he wants us to be, and we can have great confidence in him. So that's true both in our day-to-day life and in our ultimate salvation. So let's seek to love God, to give our lives to him, and then trust that he is a good God, that he is merciful, as our psalm said, and that he will take care of us today and each day.